So hopefully I've made this slight adjustment here. This needs to be positive. And if I haven't done it on your homework, it needs to be positive. Maybe I'll remember to, maybe I won't. I'd have to explain a lot more than I care to if that's a negative symbol. So anyways, I'm changing over my radical form. This is f of x. I'm going to pull the 4 from the interior. That makes that a root of x, 4 roots of x plus 2. I'm going to evaluate the square root of 4, which is 2. So 2 square roots of x plus 2 plus 3. So that's f of x, and that's graphable. That is a left 2, rise 3 situation. Negative 2, positive 3, that's h and k. And then I am going to rise 2 and run 1. That'll get me my arm. I'm going to add a third point in too, just to make this a little easier on myself. So 2, 5? It's easy to take the square root of 4, right? So I'm going to let x be 2. And that would be just really high. But if I plugged a 2 in here, I'd be taking the square root of 4, which is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Add 3, 7. The reason I'm getting more points is just going to make drawing the inverse easier on me. Maybe you saw what I did there. I thought about a little table there. X, Y. I wanted an outcome. Well, anyways, I want a desired outcome. I also contain 2, 7. Most of you probably aren't listening to the audio, so you have no idea what's going on. All right, the domain for this function, this is f of x, the original function, is from -2 moving right to infinity. And the range of this function is 3, that's a 3, to infinity. I need a bracket there. 3 to infinity. Now you talk about the inverse, these things swap. The domain would be 3 to infinity, and the range would be -2 to infinity, supposedly. All right. The inverse of this thing is not actually 1 to 1, which is kind of part of the issue here. All right, so we're going to swap some things around. -2, 3 becomes 3, -2. This was -2, 5. That's what this guy was. That becomes 5, -2. That was, man, I am really off. It was -1, 5. I should probably go home. So it becomes 5, -1. And then I have this guy, which was 2, 7. It becomes 7, 2. Here we have that. Our line of symmetry, y equals x, this is the inverse, by the way, passes through. Eventually these two would kind of cross, and you can see them crossing at some point in time. I missed a little bit because I'm freehand graphing. Now, what is the equation of the inverse here? Well, think about this. You know, I taught you to throw half a graph away, didn't I? So this is the right-hand side of an x squared graph. That's what that is. So if I know it's the right-hand side of an x squared graph, I can use my a times x minus h plus squared plus k idea. That's what I can do. And I'll be in business. Just forgive me, I'm wiped out. I know I have a right 3, which in parentheses is -3. And I fell 2. And the real question is, what's the a value? Well, this was a 2. This thing obviously did not rise 2 and run 1, did it? And it's really hard to tell on a freehand graph, but it only rose a half. It did the opposite. Because the opposite of 2 is a half, at least the inverse of the opposite action of multiplication of 2 is division of 2. And this is graph, so long as you invoke the domain restriction right there. So long as the domain is 3 to infinity. Well, I'm wiped out. I'm glad I'm done with that. It has been a long, long day, and it's not even 5th period.